sipping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all.
Well.
That sounds like a party. It's about to happen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. Welcome to show number 421. We are on location at Maduro's Cigar Lounge in League City, which is a wonderful place to be. We've been here several times, and we've always had a good time.
I think this was the second place we ever did an on location, and it was the first place we met this guy.
Very first.
Our special guest today, Trenton Smith from Oliva Cigars, and Trenton is doing something we refer to in media circles as cultural whiplash. Because last night he was just telling us he was at the symphony.
Very cultured.
And today he's doing Smokin' and Toastin'. So this is like, wow.
We're going from one side to the other.
One extreme to the other.
But my daughter thinks it's very boring. So.
Yeah. So
She'd probably find this very boring.
yeah,
too.
I would
course
guess.
she would.
I would guess probably
Like
so.
sitting around smoking cigars, talking about booze.
Worst time ever.
Trenton is, of course, with Oliva Cigars, one of our absolute favorite brands, and Trenton is one of our favorite guys to have on the show. And he's going to be talking a little bit today. Oliva, of course, is one of the leaders in premium cigars. We'll talk a lot about the cigars. But last time you were on the show, you started talking to us about this recent acquisition the company had made of a company that makes really like upscale cigar accessories. And he's brought a few of those out here today. So we'll talk. We'll actually see some of these and talk about what they look like. So looking forward to that. Ian's using one now to cut a cigar. What are you about to smoke there, my friend?
Oh, well, I picked up this adorable little Oliva Serie V Milanio.
Just don't call it cute.
It looks like
In the nub size.
Adorable's fine.
it looks kind of like a nub cigar, doesn't
It
it?
is. It's 460.
It's a 460.
460 box press.
This is a regular nub. Is that the Connecticut?
Yes.
So this is a regular nub Connecticut. And if you notice, the Oliva looks a little smaller, but it's actually not. It's just because of the box press.
Correct.
So it is the same size, same amount of tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be interesting to see. I've never had a Milanio that wasn't just fantastic.
Or a box press nub.
Or a box press. Yeah, because there are no box press nubs,
Correct.
right? Except for this one. Mm-hmm. So is this a like a limited edition?
It
thing?
is limited. We don't have them out right now. It's limited edition. Comes out at the show, which is happening in April.
Oh, nice.
And I am smoking and really enjoying, by the way, a Cuba Aliados by Oliva.
Yes.
And this was an old and rather storied brand, and you guys are now doing this cigar for them.
Yeah, we have teamed up with the Arroyo factory in Honduras and the EPC factory, Ernesto Perez Carrillo, in the Dominican to make some cigars for us. The cabinet by EPC is a limited edition, and the original by Arroyo, that's the blend going forward.
Love it. Now, we love the Arroyo people, too. We had a chance to hang with those guys down in Honduras at their facility, and it was quite
amazing.
That was an amazing trip. That was when I realized, there really isn't a limit to the number of cigars you can smoke in one day. You would think that there would be, but there really isn't. If you plan it carefully, you can just kind of keep that thing going. So a lot of interesting things on the show today, and we do want to give a big shout out, by the way, to last week's special guest. We love Trenton, but last week's special guest is probably our all-time favorite, and that, of course, was our Smokin' and Toastin' agave expert, Liliana Rodriguez.
She was fantastic.
She's always so good
amazing
on the show, and she's always so much fun to hang with. And she brings index cards. I noticed you didn't bring any index cards.
I got no notes.
Yeah,
She brings talking points and everything. It's like the show rates itself.
yeah. It's pretty good. We don't have to do a lot of prep.
So she was a lot more organized than I am. That's what you're saying.
She's a lot more organized than we are.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. I got nothing. She got index cards. I got nothing.
I need to put my iPad here so I look like I'm doing something, right?
Yeah, you're the only one without a computer that looks important there.
It's a ukulele, though.
I'm just going to say you have the most important stuff, though. Cigars and beer.
Ukulele.
And ukulele.
And ukulele.
Also, I keep playing with these awesome cigar cutters
Yeah.
here.
yeah.
You're still going to cut yourself.
Safety first, my friend.
have
I'm going
one
to
of
need to
these.
try one of
I think
those.
I'm going to have you sign a waiver. I forgot to do that.
Before you use one of our...
I think we
Cigar
should
cutter.
probably have waivers as a regular thing on the show. I think, yes, we probably sign them. We should probably
Right.
sign them.
Cannot be held responsible.
On today's program,
We have
we'll
to sign them every time we do a show.
We'll be trying some interesting beers and an interesting spirit from Parish Brewing Company in Broussard, Louisiana, one of our all-time favorite breweries. We'll be trying their Parish Brewing Company Parish Pilsner. That's all. It's just that it barely has any
all.
writing even on the can, which we'll see.
Huh.
But it's a Parish Pilsner. It's new. From Tripping Animals Brewing Company in Doral, Florida.
I love that
We'll
name.
be trying their triple IPA called Hippo Hurray. Not to be confused with Hip Hop Hooray, which is a different thing.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Did you say hip hop?
Hip hop. Yeah, Hip Hop Hooray is a
Did you say OPP?
Is it hip hip?
well, that's the phrase. But see, there's a song by who is it, Terry? The same ones that did OPP?
That one was
Yeah,
Naughty by Nature. Yeah.
Naughty by Nature. Yeah, they did a
Yeah.
song called Hip Hop.
Hip-hop.
Hooray. Hip Hop Hooray. Oh.
Hey. Oh. Hey.
I think
That was their other hit.
I think we now have to pay royalties for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing that. Anyway, we'll try that triple IPA. And then from St. Arnold Brewing Company in our hometown of Houston, Texas, they have gone back to releasing, after a long pause, the Bishop's Barrel series. And Ian was kind enough to go and...
They had a
And
pre-sale. I got an email that they had a pre-sale, so I bought a couple on pre-sale. This is 26 Bishop's Barrel.
we're going to be trying that.
Ooh.
It is an Imperial Porter. So we're excited
Yes,
about
it's
that.
the-
Yeah.
It's the Imperial Porter aged in bourbon barrels with coffee, coconut, vanilla, orange peel, and coriander. That sounds terrible. You guys probably don't want any. I'll drink it myself.
Okay, it doesn't sound like it would go with cigars at all. So we'll just. So you know what might go with cigars? We've had one of this brand's rums on the show before, and it went over really well. It's the rum brand called Smuggler's Reserve.
Yes.
Today we'll be trying their blended rum. The Smuggler's Reserve has rums from different locations, Barbados and Jamaica and different places. But this is their blended rum, which they call the Forbidden Blend.
Wow, that
yeah.
sounds good.
That sounds very
You know,
good.
I still can't put down the bottle of rum that I got from Doc's that time.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Land Selection. Oh, man. I think that's like the only spirit I've been drinking since he gave it to us.
Love it. Absolutely love it. We'll also be bringing you the most popular segment on the program in the second hour, a little something we call Drinking News. Drinking News is where we bring you a story from the news that is sometimes, but not always, about drinking. But it is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And our Drinking News teaser headline for today is... Hold my pants and watch this. And speaking of teaser headlines, we'll also do the drinking fact here in a couple of minutes. Our drinking fact teaser headline is... Would you rather have a cocktail or a new car? Oh, I like that. That's good. That's a good little coda there. And we'll be talking a bit about what's going on with Oliva and their variety of brands. Trenton has... how long have you been with Oliva?
12 years.
12 years. So, you know, Oliva is one of those brands. There's a handful of these that you know that as long as it is an Oliva, it's going to be good. I mean, there really are no surprise bad cigars
Yeah,
in there.
anything they put out, I'll try.
Yeah.
Sight unseen.
And one of the things that, you know, I'm most fond of is this bad boy right here, the Oliva
Oh, yeah.
Series V. This is the
135th.
135th, and this is just it's so good it's almost like a special occasion cigar for me. But fortunately, I will buy a box every now and then. So I
You
have lots of
heard
special
about this
occasions.
first on this show.
That's
Absolutely.
right. You announced it on this program.
Oh,
remember
that's
that.
the awesome looking one.
It is.
I have never
wonderful.
seen this one.
It
This is
Terry,
awesome.
This cigar
This is
will change your life.
amazing.
It's that good.
Wow.
And yeah,
Check out the presentation.
check out the box. This is like
Yeah, the box
This
is
is
beautiful.
maybe the nicest cigar box presentation that
Wow.
I've seen. First of all, the box
Wow.
is just beautiful wood.
That's wow. That's
Shiny.
amazing.
I mean,
That's
my coffee
amazing.
table
Show it
isn't
to this
nearly
camera
that
right
shiny.
here.
Yeah. My coffee table isn't nearly that elegant looking with the
Wow,
shine
that's
of the wood.
amazing.
Yeah, it really is. That's just one of those.
Beautiful.
You
Wow.
cannot go wrong with this cigar. And you know,
Yes.
Oliva's
That's one of the few cigars where I almost never buy a single. I buy a box.
100%.
Wow.
Now, Oliva, we've talked about this on the show multiple times. How we hope that they don't listen to us and get any ideas, but they're just a cigar company that does not overprice their cigars.
We do have a $300 cigar now.
Yeah, and you also have some accessories that are a little in the upper end.
A little on the pricey.
So they kind
LA
of do
Blue.
that. Now, just out of curiosity, have you had your $300?
I have not.
Yeah.
Now, originally it was gold. We had a gold leaf that the cigar was dipped in. We did away with that idea when we realized the gold plate doesn't smoke like the tobacco, and it smokes at a different level.
uneven. Yeah.
So that was horrible. And now you get a gold-plated knife
With
the cigar box,
Wow. Well,
and
that's
that's like a $500 knife.
That's pretty cool.
This is a cigar cutter, by the way. I love these. I have one. Cigar goes here. Don't put your finger there. Cigar goes here, and then guillotine. Beautiful.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it makes a nice even
Oh,
cut too.
super sharp.
But you kind of wonder, based on that angle, would that cut be even? Would it pinch the cigar? But
It shaves it right off.
Yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. So, how when you guys come out with something like a $300 cigar? I don't mean this the way it's going to sound, but do people buy it? Like, do you sell those?
It's a tough sell.
I bet.
It's a real tough sell, and the whole selling point is it goes to our charity, which, I mean, it's basically a donation that we're
Right.
given to help fund the Montessori in Nicaragua for the factory and just to help feed employees in Nicaragua.
So that's
I
the
feel
ultimate
like
goal with it? Because what is
Most
the ultimate
cigars
goal
that
there?
start at the $100 price point and go up from there. Most of them from sane companies. That's the way they do it.
Correct.
It's going to be a charity cigar. The money's not necessarily just for the cigar. It's for the charity.
Yeah, if you're buying this cigar to think you're getting $300 worth of a cigar, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not many cigars that.
Yeah, what would you smoke at a $300 price point that you wouldn't be like, well,
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's that extra bump is you get the charity on top of that. So that's,
You get to feel good about it.
Yeah, and when you're buying a $300 cigar, you realize how many of these, which this is just one of the best cigars of all time. How many of these could you buy for $300?
Yeah.
Right? So it's versus one cigar versus all of these, or maybe like two Dunhills. So
Now, I will tell you, if you're paying $300 for a cigar, you're not really caring how many you can buy for that same amount.
sure,
Right.
That's true. That's true.
The old saying, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
right.
Well,
And the charity aspect makes that.
and
really
honestly,
nice.
it's almost that way with a lot of what we like to call super premiums now. I mean, when you got cigars that are pushing $20, again, it's like. How many of these could you have for that price? And is it really?
Now you
really
had
worth
that.
it?
You had the Figurado that came out, 2023 Figurado that was priced at $20.
And the 2024 is
And that
out
was
there
fun.
now.
And a 2024. I haven't tried the 2024 yet, but the 2023 I really enjoyed. And it's a fun cigar. Is it? It's fun for the size of it. You're getting a cigar that you know is going to be good, but
And
you
the-
don't get that
One of the
perfecto
problems
size.
with that cigar when we launched it, it's not selling as well as the 135th because we are selling this one for $12.50,
Right.
and then selling the Milano Figurino for $20.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Figurino is fun to have for the size, for the
Yeah.
shape of it. You know.
Well, I got to tell you, there are very few things in this world better than a really wonderful cigar from Oliva, and I'm betting that's making the grade, isn't it?
This is fantastic. I love the size. I love the nub size anyway. I've been
Yeah.
a fan of nubs for years. The
Well,
nub Maduros is the mainstay in my humidor.
so we got to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll see how much of that cigar is left after the break. It's Smoking a Toast. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We're on location today at Maduro's Cigar Lounge in League City, Texas. And we love our on-location shows, mostly because we get to smoke.
We do get to
We can't smoke in the studio for obvious reasons, but here we're in a smoking studio, and I absolutely love it. Plus, Maduro's is one of those places that it's comfortable from the moment you walk in. And there are places, really comfortable places to sit and smoke, and lots of room to sit and smoke where you don't have to be a private member and pay tons of money all year just to be able to sit here and smoke.
Yeah,
It's
you
wonderful.
walk in and the mood in here is always warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
The comfortable chairs. We'll have to do a walk through here where you can see these big, beautiful, comfortable chairs that you can sit in.
And the humidors? Oh, the humidor here? Beautiful. Wonderful.
It's a beautiful blend
Well-stocked.
of big label brands that you know and love, plus some. I saw some boutique brands in there that were.
You and I were in there before the show. We saw some things we did not recognize
Yes,
at
yes.
all. So, and considering how much time we spend talking about and smoking these, it's always interesting to get surprised. All right, regular segment we do here on the program is a little something we call
The Beverage of Mystery.
Yes, that's right. The beverage of mystery. It's where one of us will bring a beverage in. Sometimes it's a seltzer, sometimes it's a craft cocktail, sometimes it's a Malort. It's always something that the only person who knows what it is before we taste is the person what brung it.
It's pleasant smelling.
And I am the person what brung it today. So everybody else will be tasting this kind of blind, sight unseen. What do you think, Ian? I know you're already.
It smells basically like a Sprite.
Yep.
Maybe with a kiss of tequila.
Does have a little bit of a Sprite smell to it, doesn't
It really does.
Yeah,
I'm voting
I
Sprite.
see where you're getting the tequila.
It's like just a little bit, but it smells actually really nice.
Actually, you know what? That's actually pretty good. We do.
Wow.
I would say 80% maybe of the beverages of mystery we don't wind up liking all that much. But this one may fall in the 20. I kind of like this.
Seems like
It's-
Sprite with a little bit of champagne.
Well, I could go with that.
It's like Sprite meets margarita. Like you put a little Sprite in your margarita, but I'm voting this is a margarita of some sort. This is a pre-done margarita.
It's got some citrus to it.
This does not. It has a lot of citrus to it, but it also does not have that aspartame aftertaste.
Which we, in cocktails, canned cocktails, and in seltzers, that's always our biggest gripe.
Yeah, they plague them. Like it's so
It may
bad.
taste good when you're drinking it, and in the finish you get that artificial sweetener taste that just ruins it.
It's
Not
very
so.
ranch water. It's very ranch water, but margarita more to me. I feel like it's leans more margarita than ranch water, but could go either
Maybe
way.
it's a margarita ranch water.
Ooh.
Ian, you have a question for me?
Do you happen? Is that a beverage of mystery in your pocket, or are you just happy to see us?
Well, I'm pretty happy to see you, but our beverage of mystery today is from Epic Western. It's their La Paloma.
Coming in at 8%.
Yep. So it is a Paloma, which is a tequila drink.
I've
With
never heard of a
grapefruit.
Paloma, I don't think.
Palomas are wonderful. And this, I have to say, as canned cocktails go, this is actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's one of the
Not bad.
best ones we've had on the
You
show.
said
I'm there.
8%?
It's
Yeah.
8% alcohol by volume.
Jeez.
You do not get that from from the flavor. at all.
No,
I would actually drink that floating down the river.
oh yeah.
Says
Oh,
the
yeah.
main squeeze packs a punch.
Definitely.
It contains salt, grapefruit, sparkling water, and 100% blue agave tequila. So I like that they didn't try to get too fancy with it. I don't think it is sweetened.
I think the reason that,
That's why we're not
that
getting
it turned out well is because of the lack of ingredients. The
Right.
simplicity of the ingredients.
Agreed, yeah.
rather.
It is
Absolutely.
a simple cocktail as it should be. When you make a cocktail at home, you
I
make
would
something simple.
not only drink this, but I would try others from that brand just because,
And there are others. This is the Paloma, but they have other.
just because this is very drinkable.
Have to tell you, I'm going to be buying this, and I don't say that often for the beverage of mystery.
Nope.
My fridge is littered with 3 and 5 cans of things that I bought for the beverage of mystery that I haven't gotten up the gumption to drink the remaining ones in my
We
fridge.
need to get a picture of that one for the Hall of Fame.
This one I will
beverage
definitely
of
do.
You just,
Mystery
need,
Hall
you
of
just
Fame.
need to invite the right people over at some point.
That's true, because there are people that have absolutely no issue with drinking some of those with the major aspartame
I
flavor.
just threw out a 6-pack. I basically dumped it out, a 6-pack of Miller Genuine Draft that I had sitting in my fridge. It had been sitting there for about a year.
Yeah, and
Nobody's touched it.
So sometimes, like, I'll go out and buy beer for like the company Christmas party, right? Mm-hmm. And I'll go and I'll get some great craft stuff. But there's always a few people that like the macro brews, so I'll wind up with some Miller Lite or Bud Light. This last year, everybody drank the craft. Nobody drank. So I've still got Miller Lite in my beer fridge.
It's a good go-to.
I just want to say, Serie V Milano,
The nut
solid
version.
ash, perfect burn.
Have you tipped that at all yet?
No.
Because that's a short.
We're going for 1 ash.
I don't know if we'll get 1 ash out of this. I'll have to show you guys the picture in a little bit of I sent him a picture a few years back with a nub Maduro that was a 1 ash. We're going to see how far this goes first.
And it was kind of an accidental 1 ash. Didn't you say you just looked
I
down?
didn't even realize that I had an ash. I'll show it now if we want. If you got a second.
Sorry, I'm trying to get some.
I don't know which camera.
This one.
So there's a picture of you with that.
That's a single
massively-
ash.
Turn it a little towards me. Yeah, there you go. There you go, Trent. Thank you. That's pretty good.
That's an
Single ash.
entire nub, single ash.
Love it. There you go. Terry will get the angle right.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the angle right on it. Oh, this one has it definitely.
Yeah. All right, so that's working. That's
Wow,
working.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. And you were telling the story actually during the break that right after you had the picture snapped of it, you took it out of your mouth and the ash fell.
And the ash fell, yeah.
Always happens.
Love that. Love that.
I mean, but we're going on a third of cigar so far, and it hasn't moved.
It's smoking nice and slow, too. We'll see what's left when we come back. We'll take a break right now. It is Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. I don't know if I mentioned this, by the way, but this is our show number 421. And Trenton Smith from Oliva Cigars is with us, and I'm going to ask him to do the math for us. Where does that put us in relationship to the 500th show?
According to my math, that's exactly halfway.
All right,
Yeah.
halfway to 500.
Right.
Good to know.
Yeah, we're
to know.
we're getting there, man.
It's good to know that joke is funny to more than just you and me. It's not funny at all to my wife. She doesn't get the humor in that
Well, the
at
first
all.
time I heard it, you were kind of close to halfway.
Right.
And I'm like, well, he just rounded up, so...
It's a pretty bad joke. By the way, I wanted to mention while Ian's pouring, we're going to do the drinking fact here in a moment, and Ian's pouring our first beer, which is...
I was trying to pour it in so you could hear it on the mic, and I poured it on myself.
Yeah, well,
I thought you were taking
That's
a
what
sip or
happens with the
something.
lapel mic.
it's okay because I do that when I'm not trying to get the sound of it picked up from the thing. No, I wanted to mention, though, I've been smoking this Cuba Aliados by Oliva, and not only is the burn line on this thing just absolutely perfect, but a few moments ago, because I was talking on the show, it had gone out on me, and I had to hit it with the lighter again. And guess what? Zero relight penalty.
Zero relight
I
penalty.
love when that happens. I love when that
Almost ash, didn't you?
happens. Yeah.
I saw you
close.
hesitate.
Almost.
I saw that.
All right, it is time for today's drinking fact. So, Terry, if you wouldn't mind.
And now it's time for another smoking and toasting drinking fact.
Again, we only keep this segment going because we love that cheesy fanfare. It's the best. We talked about expensive cigars. Oliva has a $300 cigar. There are a few out there that are even more expensive than that. But would you want
Could
to know?
you on a boat?
I could on a boat, actually. But that would seem like a waste of a $300 cigar to smoke it on a boat. But would you like to know about the most expensive cocktail in the world?
The most expensive cocktail.
Yep.
All right.
It is the Diamonds Are Forever cocktail. Ooh. It's a special drink with super high-end cognac and champagne, and it is topped off with a 1-carat diamond at the bottom of the glass.
So wait. It doesn't even name the champagne and the
I don't have the name of it here. I'm sure.
Just say it should be Louis or something.
It's
right.
the who cares shit. It's Moet, the stuff you get for $6 at the store.
Yeah, they don't
With a diamond.
in
Yeah,
it. It's
that's right. If they name it, then you'll price it and realize
That's
what the
right.
markup is. So expect to pay $22,600 for one drink.
What if you accidentally swallow the diamond?
Well, I'm worried about that.
Like in the
simple.
movie Waiting.
just
They
go to
make
the
this.
doctor.
They make this drink slightly differently at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Bar in Tokyo, and there it doesn't come with a diamond in the bottom. It comes with a diamond engagement ring in the glass.
Well, that'd be
if
hard to
you're-
swallow.
If you,
Harder.
harder. Yeah. So if you're proposing,
Again, the movie Waiting, that's what they swallowed, was the ring.
was the ring. That's right. That's right. But think about that. That's a hell of a way to propose.
That is. That
Yeah.
is.
But what I would worry about with that, even if I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to save up the money, and that's how when I propose to her, that's how I'm going to do it. Right? We'll go to Tokyo. The ring will be in the glass. I'm afraid you've set the bar for your financial contribution to this relationship really high.
Can you say
right at the beginning?
prenup?
Yeah, right at the beginning.
One-time deal.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
named it after a James Bond movie, though.
Yeah, and you give her the prenup, and she go, "Why do you want me to sign this? You don't have any money left."
Well, another thing you said, save up. The people buying these drinks aren't saving
They're
up.
not saving for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take.
That's
our
like the
first-
guy that did a $32,000 sandwich. Did you hear about him the other day? Here in Houston, ordered a Philly cheesesteak from Philadelphia to be here by the evening. 100% true story. And he had it here, $32,000.
Jersey Mike's has a pretty good Philly.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's a lot less.
I know there was a lot of people that were like, Nico's wasn't good. You couldn't get anything from anywhere else.
And listen, I lived in Philly. The cheesesteaks are great and all that, but like, they're not that good. Come on,
I could do better with $32,000 than one cheesesteak.
One cheesesteak.
100%.
You know what Parish Brewing does really well?
Everything.
They make beer. And they make it really, really good.
So the beer that we're trying is from Parish Brewing, Broussard, Louisiana. They have definitely one of my top three, maybe even my favorite IPA in the world, the Ghost in the Machine
so
hazy IPA. That is so good. And they make other really amazing and wonderful beers as well. This is their Pilsner. It's just called Parish Pilsner. It is decked out in Mardi Gras colors.
It is. It's
And-
dressed.
And unlike the engagement ring or the diamond at the bottom of the cocktail, there's apparently no king cake plastic baby in the can. But it definitely has a Mardi Gras look to it. Do you think Mardi Gras when you drink it?
Well, it just reminds me of really outstanding beer. I don't know that it reminds me of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras, I tend to think hurricanes and
Yeah, I would much rather drink this at Mardi Gras than Hurricanes for sure.
yes, well, there is that.
This is a delicious Pilsner.
Plus, setting down that tall, weird thing that they always serve the hurricanes in sucks.
Setting it down is not the bad thing. Carrying it around.
Carrying it
sucks.
100%.
You got to set it down to light a cigar, though. That's the problem.
Good point.
In a city where, by the way, you can smoke a cigar outside. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. Unlike California, where you can smoke anywhere you want, as long as it's not inside or outside.
Right. New Orleans and Louisiana, they will allow you to smoke outdoors. This is absolutely wonderful.
It's great.
Give me what you're getting on the flavor profile.
It's a little
very
malty.
beer tasting.
It's a very malty, classic lager. Malty up front, a little crisp on the back end. Finishes clean. It finishes with almost a mineral water and a slight touch of sweetness from the malt.
Yeah.
And just a little bit of bitter snap from the hops in it. It's incredibly balanced.
It seems to me that this Pilsner should embarrass every macro beer brewer alive and working today.
This is as good as we're drinking the True Anomaly, their Scout Lager, which is outrageous, which is a little bit different flavor because that's a Mexican lager. But this is that kind of good. It's outrageously good.
It really is. And it goes to show you that these last couple of years where a lot of craft brewers have been focusing on lagers and pilsners, they know how to do this just as well as they know how to do the ales.
Yeah,
they really do. At least certainly at Parish. Parish can be. This is such a. I want to use the word normal It's such a normal beer. It's such a beer tasting beer. Because Parish can often be very experimental. I see what you're doing there. You're going for the longest ash you can get, and that's why you're being so careful. And this is Ian. This is the guy that has more shirts with ash on them.
And this one would be beer and ash.
Yeah, Ian, that's pretty impressive.
I'm going for my own scent.
I think you got it.
What does the song say?
Whiskey and cigars is the gentleman's cologne.
Just so you guys know, this is what Ian's smoking. It's this Nub Melanio
It's
Serie V.
It's quite literally the whole ash.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive, sir. That's pretty impressive. I know I could not pull that off. But then I can't blow smoke rings either, and you just did. So
Smoke rings are beautiful.
they are a wonderful thing. It's one of those things I was never able to... that and ice skating, I was never able to, figure it out. Can you ice skate, Trent?
Oh,
You know what? Funny story.
it just fell.
Oh,
So I wasn't at the whiskey social because we took my daughter to New York for her 14th birthday, and after we did the Rockettes, we went ice skating. I think Grant Park or something.
yeah.
And I'm like, so I went to pay for the ice skates, and I got skates for me. My daughter goes, Dad, you're going to skate? I go, I used to skate all the time. We had a pond when I was growing up. I took 2 steps skating, and I was on my back. And then I had to try to get
Nice
back
job,
up, and
Dad.
there's kids all over the place, and I'm the dad trying to get up and get to the side and get out.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness.
horrible.
So
No, I can't anymore.
the building that I live in, my balcony faces Discovery Green, which is a major downtown park in Houston, and they have an area down there that they in the summertime they put a hardwood floor on it, and it's like a roller skating rink. In the winter, they actually make an ice skating rink down there, and so it's fun to kind of watch people ice skating when it's wintertime.
More fun to watch them fall.
Well, I was going to say, this winter, they sectioned off part of it and did, bumper cars on ice. And you could go down there. And I really wanted to do it, except then I watched them. And I was like, that doesn't look fun at all. What looks fun is the people ice skating in the other part. They're, falling all over the place. There's much more bumper action going on in the ice skating area than there is in the bumper car.
Me and Tiffany decided to go up to the north side of Houston, Humble area, and go visit Joe Brado over at Old Humble Distilling one time, not realizing he had moved his distillery.
Just up the street, right?
Yeah, just up the street. And that's a whole funny thing because I called him and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm up the street. Come meet me there. But in the meantime, between the time that we were going to meet him and where we were, there was a roller skating rink there. And so we thought just on pure fun, hey, let's go roller skating. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to roller skate all the time, just like what you said, right? Now, I didn't bust my butt, but my center of gravity has changed substantially since I was much younger. And it took me a little bit to get used to that.
Yeah, that's just laws of physics there, my friend. That's what that is. Wanted to mention, by the way, we have, this show airs on radio stations across the United States. It airs, it's in all the podcast platforms, and we're on YouTube. And so we not only have listeners in our hometown area and across the U.S., but we also have international listeners as well. And for our listeners in the UK, I'm excited to tell you that there's a new online, because it can be hard sometimes to find craft beer in European countries. So you can obviously get, great beer that is made there, but American craft beer, which is where most of the really amazing craft beer comes from, is from American brewers, a little harder to find. Now there is an online craft beer store in the UK called The Beer Rep, R-E-P, The Beer Rep. And so our UK listeners can go to The Beer Rep, just Google it, and they offer a carefully curated range of beers from a variety of small and established breweries, trying to make craft beer more accessible to everyone in the UK.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's it looks like a pretty cool outfit. They do not have, it's not like one of those subscription things where they, send it to you every month and you get the assortment.
Right.
You actually choose your own beers and choose what you want to have shipped, and It's the guy who put the platform together says, a lot's happened in the last 3 to 4 years. It's had a massive effect on the independent sector. Hikes in the cost of ingredients and higher ABV beers. There's a lot that's changed, and it's changed consumer behavior. And so now this gives you a chance to sample some things if you're in the UK. So I don't know if they have Parish, but if they do, grab some.
Man, yes.
This lager is
Anything
outstanding.
from Parish, though.
Really is. And for that matter, from our beer sponsor for show beers, True Anomaly.
Good.
These guys have just done an amazing job. We were talking about them a little bit before the show. I mean, these guys have come in a time when so many craft breweries are struggling and, trying to figure out what their next step is and how to stay afloat. These guys are growing like crazy, and it's just awesome to see.
Just some NASA nerds that started in the garage.
I love it.
They just kept getting bigger, and their passion just
And their
kept
new
building
facility
stuff.
is even closer to my house.
Yeah,
I can't wait till that's open. Yeah.
That's going to be open.
That's a bonus. I'm enjoying this fruited sour. I wasn't sure. I really kind of looked at it today, and I was like, I think I'm going to try the fruited. Man, it's great.
And that's the True Anomaly fruited sour.
the true
name of it?
Valentina.
Valentina. Yeah. These
Really
guys,
good.
These guys have got it going on. But to just get back to the beer that we sampled from Parish, that thing is an amazing Pilsner. Not much left in our sample can.
Clean and crisp. I like it.
Yeah, that's really, really fantastic. So Trenton Smith with Oliva is here with us on the show today. And we've only got about a minute left in this segment, Trenton, but this is the first time I think you've been on the show that you didn't have a new cigar to announce in the Oliva lineup. But I mentioned this when you've been with us before. Oliva is not one of those companies. I mean, I love Rocky Patel, but Rocky Patel puts out a new cigar every afternoon, it seems like. You guys are take a little bit different approach, don't you?
Yeah, it's very, very intentional what we do. We don't do a lot of brand extensions. So basically, the brand extension is on the Series V, the 135th anniversary. It's not a whole line. The Figurino on the Milano. So it's limited edition things, not just whole lines.
A whole new line.
So you've done the Figurino on the Milano, and then also the 4x60 box press now. That's it. And that one's about to come out, you said.
Yeah, that'll come out at the show.
That's
now you've got
awesome.
Oliva-related blends like Nub and the Master Blend series.
And Cane.
And Cane. And also the Gilberto Oliva.
Gilberto.
Master Blend Churchill is another one of my 100% goes
Master
to. I
Blend
just something about
phenomenal
that
cigar.
cigar.
Absolutely love it. We're going to take a break and come back in just a moment. But we have more Oliva to talk and more drinks to try out as well, which that's a good thing. It's smoking and toasting. We'll be right back. Welcome back, my friends, to show number 421 of what's known internationally as Smokin' and Toastin'. It's only known internationally because there's a guy in Poland named Fred who listens.
It counts.
So, hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
Nice to have you on the program. We are on location at Maduros in League City, Texas. It is a wonderful cigar lounge and cigar store. Trenton Smith with Oliva Cigars is here with us.
That guy rocks.
In the break, during the break, Terry was talking about, because Terry's a newer cigar smoker. You didn't really smoke cigars much before the show, did you?
No,
Before
not
you were
a
on the
lot.
show.
No, not really.
So he's a newer cigar smoker, and he was talking about when it's appropriate to take the band off of your cigar. And I mentioned that I'd read some articles that said, well, if you leave the band on, you're just trying to show off what brand you're smoking. So the best thing to do is take the band off before you smoke.
I
But
didn't
that-
even think about that.
That isn't really the best idea, is it? Trent?
Really. So the manufacturers put just a little bit of glue behind the band so that it doesn't move while it's in the packaging for marketing purposes.
That makes sense.
So if you take it off before you light the cigar, it could rip the wrapper.
And I've had that happen. I hate that.
Oh, it's horrible. So if you don't want to rip the wrapper, just light the cigar, let that cigar heat up just a little bit, activate the glue, and then the band will peel right off.
And it's especially important if you're smoking like a lighter cigar with a Connecticut wrapper, because those those leaves are
Delicate.
thinner, more delicate, and they're more likely to tear if you're not careful. So,
But I haven't smoked many of these nubs, but this seems like a full-on like cigar right in here.
Definitely
So
is.
one of the things I also learned is sometimes the wrapper's a little loose, and if you try to pull it off the end, unless it's really loose, sometimes it can catch a spot on the wrapper and tear it
And
too.
then tear it, yeah.
So generally speaking, even if the wrapper's
Peel
loose,
it.
I won't pull it off of the end. I'll actually peel it because of that. Because I've, if it happens that 5 times you do that, it works fine. There's going to be a 6th time where you kind of ruin the cigar.
Yeah. And I'll just mention, too, the other thing that you want to be careful about is not leaving the band on for too long, because if it happens, the burn line gets down next to the band and happens to start that band burning, that is the reason that the word acrid was
Yeah,
created.
you start getting that burnt paper.
Yeah, that burnt paper. Yeah.
Like smoking a cigarette all the way to the
But
filter.
I like the fidgety, like it's where you put your fingers and eventually you're going to peel it off. So there's a little fidgety anticipation that you have for that. And that's
I
kind
like
of fun. too.
fidgety anticipation.
Yes. Historically, by the way,
Anticipation.
one of the reasons that they started using bands on cigars in the first place was so that your fingers would not smell as much like tobacco after you smoke the cigar.
Is that real?
Know that.
That's
So I heard
a real thing.
another story. I can't remember. It was a queen somewhere that loved cigars, and she was very proper, and she always wore white gloves.
Queen
So-
Latifah?
Yes, I think that's it.
For sure, 100%.
She was in Russia somewhere, but her white gloves kept getting stained, so they put a piece of silk around the
there you go,
cigar,
yeah.
and then everybody started wanting the cigar with the silk on it.
Oh, gotcha.
So that was like the early marketing.
I realized I hadn't handed you the beer yet, so I was like, why isn't Ian opening and pouring
There's a good reason for that.
Because I didn't hand it to him.
Because I don't
So
have the beer.
while Ian's doing this, I want to share with you. I've mentioned this website before. I really like this site. It's called VinePair. And VinePair did an article recently where they asked 16 beer professionals, brewers, beer executives at different craft beer companies, what's the most overrated style of beer for 2025?
Excuse me.
They talked to people like Jester King and different brewers in American Solera and different brewers across the country. Here's the list that they came up with. At the top, the most overrated beer style for 2025, non-alcoholic beer. And I agree with this. I like the idea of non-alcoholic beer, so you can have a beer, but at a time when you maybe you're the designated driver.
You don't have to get drunk with your buddies, but you can pee a lot with them.
Right, exactly. So, but most non-alcoholic beers, and we've done blind taste tests on this show, most of them are just not that good.
There were a few that were actually quite acceptable, though. I was surprised. I
And
was very
Athletic Brewing Company, as I've seen a number of articles
Very
lately
low
where
alcohol.
they've been really touted as one of the leaders in non-alcoholic beer, and they're doing very
They
well.
also do very sessionable ones. They'll do beers that I think are in like the 2% range, 2 to 3%
Right.
range.
Next on the list is lagers made with imported malts. Your thoughts, sir?
If you make a good lager, it doesn't matter where you get the malts from. You make a good lager like this. Check.
Well, and again, what we're
Check
talking
malt
about here
is outrageously
it's not
good.
that these styles are not good, it's that they're overrated. That's what
I
was
don't know.
asked of the brewers. Celebrity Light Lagers comes in next,
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put that one up there.
followed by Wild and Sour Ales, Triple IPAs, Hazy IPAs, Over-Hopped IPAs.
All IPAs.
Okay,
Yeah.
so everything except for triple IPAs. I do love triple IPAs. I don't know about are they really overhyped? Because most people don't drink those. Even people who love IPAs don't drink a lot of triple IPAs.
So Daniel Gadala Maria is the head brewer at Finback Brewery in Glendale, New York. And he writes in this article, in my experience, the majority of triple IPAs suffer from issues such as off flavors caused by overstressed yeast, intense hop burn from excessive dry hopping, and astringency from over-extraction. While it's fine to appreciate a style that's inherently unbalanced, the fact these flaws are being regularly overlooked within the style shows that triple IPA remains one of the most overrated beer styles out there.
That might be why I'm so
even
selective.
in 2025, yeah.
Overstressed yeast.
Overstressed.
So you need to play some like classical music or something.
little therapy.
Absolutely.
Yeast therapy.
Maybe get him a dog to carry around.
with a little barrel. I like that. Czech lagers are next on the list.
This Czech lager is pretty amazing.
We're drinking an awfully good one right now. Yeah,
That's except for the true anomaly.
Yeah, but again, this is not that they're bad; it's that they're overrated. Lagers come in next. Over viscous sours and IPAs, and then finally beers overusing ingredients. So these are what made the list, and these are not necessarily in order. They're just
they're just things.
The things that the different brewers.
I'm going to go
mentioned.
ahead and amend a couple things. I'm going to say IPAs in general are overhyped.
Overhyped, perhaps. That doesn't mean there's not
And
great
have
IPAs.
been for the last almost 20 years now.
Hazy IPA, according to Erica Sorensen, the head brewer at Wandering Leaf Brewing Company, they said one of the two most overrated beer styles, in my opinion. But hazies are a great way to showcase hops, but honestly, there's zero skill needed to brew that beer, and most of them taste the same. Well, if there's zero skill needed, I'm gonna start brewing hazy IPAs. I love them. We got to take a break. We're gonna taste what looks like it might be a slightly hazy IPA. Coming up in the next segment, the first one of hour number 2, it's Smoking and Toasting. We'll be right back.
In the beginning, so the story goes. A smooth operation, now crumbling from the blow.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2 of Smoking and Toasting, show number 421, halfway to 500, and we're on location with Oliva and Trenton Smith at Maduros Cigar Lounge, League City, Texas. We poured a beer last segment, but didn't get to it, so let's go right to it now. This is, well, Ian, you may have to show that can to the camera because it's a very interesting can.
The artwork
going
is
on.
quite interesting. It's called Hippo Hurray Triple India Pale Ale in collaboration with Barrier Brewing. I love Tripping Animals as a name, by the way, but it's got a hippo floating and dancing on a cloud with an airplane going by.
And so this is a triple IPA, which is one of those overrated categories of beer that we just talked about from craft brewers. So it'll be interesting to see how this one delivers.
Not to bring anybody down, but hippos are always cartoonishly
Hungry.
made into cute animals, and they're actually brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Very dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Like
They are
very incredibly dangerous and
Very
kill
aggressive.
people.
Yeah. And rhinos, I have a picture of myself somewhere from a trip to the San Diego Zoo, standing and posing by the sign that says, "Caution, rhinos may spray." Not while I was there.
Oh, Triple
But
India.
apparently it's happened because of the sign. You know?
Triple India Pale Ale with Citra, Azaka, and Simcoe hops. You can taste that Simcoe right off the bat. In collaboration with our amigos from Barrier Brewing Company, coming in at 10% by volume. It does not taste 10% at all.
But I'll tell you, it tastes pretty balanced to me. A lot of the
It's good.
critiques that we saw in that article in Vine Pair about triple IPAs don't seem. I don't get a sense of overstressed hops, or was it overstressed yeast? Overstressed yeast. I don't
Not
get
enough
that.
classical music.
Yeah, I don't get that to go to the symphony like you did last night.
That's right.
But I don't get the sense that the yeast is under a lot of stress in this particular beer.
No, this is a pretty nice example of a triple. It's got more balance than you would expect.
It's definitely big. You can
got a
tell
little
it's higher
sweet up
ABV.
front.
Yeah.
It's got
Some
a little
citrus.
dank, just a touch of dank on the back end, and a finish that finishes slightly hoppy bitter, but in a pleasant way.
Yeah. Dank can be a wonderful thing. It's kind of like, when you're drinking a saison or a table beer, a farm table beer. That dank is part of what you're looking for, and it can be wonderful. It might not be what you want in every beer you drink, but it can be a wonderful experience. I think this is a really good beer for sharing, in my opinion, and for stopping to really examine what you're getting out of this. And I have a hard time concentrating watching you
Tried to cut his finger
trying
off.
to cut that cigar.
No, it's beautiful.
But did you see how cleanly that cut?
It's crazy.
Trenton's got the over and under on whether or not he
those
is going to hurt
knives,
himself
those
today.
knives.
Hey,
Now-
you guys relax. I have one of these at home, and it is wonderful.
So
He's a trained professional.
Trent, you guys have been, did you bought an accessories company? Is
No,
that right?
the owner of our company invested in Lafine Lahm.
Okay, so it's more like a not necessarily a merger, but
partnership.
it's a partnership.
Collab.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it is a wonderful
Let's
collab because
talk about this beautiful thing right here. I have one of these at home. This is an incredibly sharp. It looks like an old school razor, like you'd shave with.
yeah, it
almost.
does, doesn't it?
A little bit heavier handle, and it's got this little cutout here that fits. Guess what? A cigar.
That's just such a
And
great
so
idea.
it's literally a cigar guillotine. You put your cigar here, and you draw that straight down. It's incredibly sharp. It cuts your cigar incredibly smooth.
So that whole style was based on sheep shears. So back in the
No
day,
kidding.
that little handle made it possible to be able to open it with one hand while you're holding the sheep, and you're
never
able to
tried
just
that.
cut it off. Well, don't. You'll cut yourself.
Noted.
Just out of curiosity.
But now I know I'm going to hold it like this when I
Yeah.
cut the cigar.
yeah, because then you can use the thumb to just kind of trigger.
Yeah,
the,
they're so and like this one has gold with skulls on it, and this one has simply a mahogany handle. It's absolutely beautiful.
And while we're talking about Lafine, we just came out with a line of cigar cases, leather cigar cases.
Oh, look at that.
Also lighters. So we've got a couple different lighters that we're now selling.
These are great if you're traveling.
And I just want to
Cigar
show this
fits
off.
in.
This is the Oliva cigar case, and what I love about
It is
this
beautiful.
one is not only is it a 3-finger case, but the cigar areas for it are wide enough, and this is tall enough to be able to actually accommodate a Toro or the size of cigars that I like to smoke. I have a number of cases that are wonderful, but they just they won't hold the cigars that I like. They'll only hold smaller ones, and this is very useful, and it's also beautiful. That is just
You
absolutely
also brought
gorgeous.
some Ellie Blue stuff here. Ellie Blue.
Ellie Blue. So we have a line of Ellie Blue, and it's going to be a set of 3. This first installment is the Tabaliza factory in Nicaragua.
It's got a picture of the factory
So we've
on
got
it. It's
Tabaliza
beautiful.
themed accessories, lighter, cutter, ashtrays, a very nice exclusive humidor that Ellie Blue has made for us with the Tabaliza on it that comes with Melanio and Serie V's.
Now you didn't bring one of those humidors.
I did not. I don't have one.
Is there a retail price for that?
There is. Okay, you know the old
it's
saying.
Not cheap. Yeah.
You know the old saying, if you have to ask.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, I won't ask. And
So
we'll
again,
pretend that I can afford
this
it.
is part of the charity for our foundation, the Helping Hands in Nicaragua. So
I love this though because they are that humidor. You showed us a picture of it. It is an absolute beautiful work of art. Shows the factory on it, and it comes. Did you say it comes with Melanios and Serie V's?
Yeah, 123. So there's 41 of 3 different sizes: Melanio, Serie V, and Serie V Maduro.
Okay, so now the prices start to make a little more sense. The price that I'm not going to ask about.
It's also a collectible humidor.
Sure, absolutely.
But if you're going to do charity and you're going to throw money in for charity, what a beautiful way. You get a beautiful humidor out of this. You get some cigars.
Absolutely.
And a little bit of bragging rights for it, you know? Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that.
Now, I don't know that Trenton wants me to mention this, but one of my favorite lighters that I use all the time
Oh boy.
is the Oliva Slim. It's a real slimline
I
lighter.
have one of those. I
And-
love that lighter.
So,
I have to ask for that back.
yeah, there was a recall.
I mean, I'm sorry. Mine broke.
There
and
you go.
Something.
There was a recall on it because of, I guess, it's possible to light it upside down, and that's considered in some places some sort of a hazard.
Now, to be clear, the company recalled these lighters.
Right. Yeah,
So
they
it's
recalled
nothing
them.
that
They're not supposed to work upside down?
The only reason that I bring this up,
issue.
the only reason I bring this up, Trenton, certainly not to embarrass you, but just to say that you can have my Slimline Oliva lighter back when you pry it from my cold dead hands.
Nice.
That is a favorite
Come and take it.
of mine.
You know,
Come
what
and
about,
take it is
what
right.
about choice too? I don't have any kids in my house,
Right.
right?
And you don't do a lot of cigar lighting upside down.
And I know how lighters work. So generally, I point the flamey end
Towards what you're trying to light.
upwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good overall practice. It's kind of like
just gonna say.
it's kind of like we regulate so many things in this country because they might have the remote possibility of causing harm, and yet people get in automobiles every day. One of the leading causes of death and injury.
Well,
we're not banning cars.
I have kids in my house, and here's the thing. I don't mind the fact that they might be able to light the lighter upside down. They just shouldn't light the lighter at all. Like,
Right.
what are you
Thank
talking
you.
about?
Why
Like,
are you
I don't
messing
care.
with
I
Dad's
don't
lighter?
care which way you're lighting it. Just don't
Yeah.
touch it.
Yeah, be responsible. It's like being a gun owner.
Yeah.
Don't put your gun where your kids can
come
get it.
on.
Are you
Kids
an
may
idiot?
the kids may need to light the advent calendar.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Advent
Yeah.
candle.
You know, well, there are some advent calendars
Yes,
that
sir.
have cigars in them.
Absolutely, there are.
Yeah.
Oh, Oliva makes one of
Yeah.
those. Yes. And,
We just call it the holiday sampler now.
the holiday sample.
Oh,
gotcha.
okay.
We did away with Advent.
Well, but I always, advent calendars, as I remember from when I was a kid, like you would open the door, right?
Yeah.
Was that the way that it worked
Yes.
with the cigar? You open the door, there's the
It's a
It's a
cigar.
perforated cardboard that you just tear off.
Yeah. Oh, see, this is better than open the door for your mystery date. This open the door for your cigar.
Well, yeah, when you were a
cigar.
kid, it was like a crappy
chocolate
piece
or-
of
yeah.
candy. Or
Hey,
Oh yeah,
this-
how much better if it's a cigar?
This
Good.
year,
I don't need
it was a Stranger Things advent calendar that we got at my
Oh.
house.
I'm just curious, what was behind the little
Stranger Things, little mini Funko Pops. The little Funko Pop things that they
Oh,
have. Yeah,
okay.
the little mini figurines.
You say it had
yes.
the 80s themes.
Yes,
Yeah,
they were. Yes, exactly.
You open the little compartment and it plays Katrina and the Waves walking on sunshine.
That's right. A little boom box.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I think it's really cool that you guys have branched into this area, because if there's one thing that drives me nuts, it is, lighters that work for about a month.
Yeah.
And you guys have got lighters and cutters that, are they ones that you put on your Christmas list for people to buy for you? Yeah, sure. But man, if you get one of these as a gift at Christmas time, that's a gift.
Now, I was under the misconception, like when mine, because I do have one of these, I have one with boxwood on it, that when it gets dull, or you feel it's a little too dull to effectively cut your cigar, you can send this blade back to
Yeah,
them,
and they'll just replace it.
Wow.
and they'll send you a brand new
Yeah, there's no
is
sharpening of it.
awesome. That's
because
awesome.
it's beveled on one side and it's totally flat on the other.
Yeah.
So a regular knife cutter will totally mess it up.
As long as you guys don't do a Calibre thing there, where you offer to replace, and then one day you stop offering to replace.
Stop offering to replace.
And that, because I have a Calibre lighter and I don't use it anymore.
I threw
but
away about
I've
5 Calibre
I've
lighters for
replaced
that.
it like 5 times. I'm not kidding. It used to be you could take it into the cigar store where you bought it, and they would just give you a new one. They would ship it back, and then they've made it way more difficult to do that now. So
Well, I
have one in a drawer that never gets used.
I had about 5 lighters that were Calibre that had failed at some point. I just had them. I was like, I need to call them and get a return authorization, because that's what you used to do. And the lady on the phone goes, well, have you ever used anything in the lighter that isn't Calibre fluid?
Yeah.
And I just said, are you seriously going to do that to me? Like, really? That's what you're going to stand on?
Just say no.
I said, you know what? I don't think I'll be buying your lighters anymore. And I hung up.
Yeah, what if you would
I
say
just
no?
tossed them.
It's
Right.
all been Calibre fluid.
Right. What are they
Well,
going to do?
I'm
Are they
sure
doing
then
some
it would have
sort
been
of
under
chemical
warranty, but at
test?
the same point, it's like, that's so petty.
So
Yeah.
cell
So
phones,
petty.
remember before, I don't know how they are now, but they used to have a tab in them that if it got wet
Yeah,
at all,
yeah.
it turned
Oh,
a different
yeah.
color.
Yeah.
I mean, you take it in. Has it been exposed to water?
Yeah.
No.
But see, now-
well, the tab's red, so obviously it has.
Now, every cell phone, though, you can drop in water
Yeah.
and they're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah.
changed
Well,
that.
I can remember taking an iPhone back because it got dropped in water and
The toilet
died.
dropped.
Yeah, and I took it back, and the person at the Apple store said, yeah, this is dead. I need to replace it. And he looks at me, he goes, toilet drop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time.
They've heard this
Yeah, I had a
before.
friend that worked at a cell phone place like that and had to repair the stuff, and they knew exactly
Oh, yeah.
what was happening like
The
that.
Total,
yeah.
Wearing
total
gloves.
toilet drop. Yeah.
Well, apparently water voids the warranty.
Yes.
So
exactly.
that was their whole, and that's why they had that little tap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first you put it in rice, and if that doesn't work, you take it back, and they say
Well,
toilet drop.
here's the thing. Like Cigar, at least now, you used to be able to bring them in, and they would just swap them out in the store. But Cigar now, you go on a website, you fill out a sheet, and they send you an RA. So that's not a big deal, right? That's not as big a deal. They don't ask you if you've ever used anything other than Cigar fluid, or they don't get.
Yeah, I used Pill Libre. Oh no! All right,
Yeah.
we gotta take a break. We'll be right back at Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back, my friends. Smoking and Toasting is on location. We are at Maduro's Cigar Lounge in League City, Texas. I love that sound. Thank you very much. Ian's about to pour us our rum for the show here today. This rum is a Smuggler's Reserve. We've had Smuggler's Reserve on the show before. It's the one we had. I want to say it was from Barbados, but I don't remember now what country it was from, because these guys have rums that they source or distill in a number of different Caribbean countries. But this one is a blended rum, and they call it the Forbidden Blend. So it'll be interesting
The
to see.
Forbidden
Yeah,
Blend.
it's forbidden. It'll be interesting to see how this
Thank you.
how this feels. But I'm very rum is to me one of the more underrated of the spirits, especially when it comes to cigars, because whiskey can be great for pairing with cigars. The right whiskey, the right cigar. Tequila, I love pairing with cigars, but you almost have to get into the more aged, the añejos, or at least a reposado before a pairing will work. Rum just seems to go with almost all cigars.
yeah. A Latin-style aged blend from Guatemala and the Dominican Republic with gentle hints of chocolate and vanilla.
I think it was a Guatemalan rum that we had actually from them.
And so Caribbean and Latin America is the origin. Used a column still blend number 12, coming in at 40%.
When you take the scent of this on the nose, it just smells like a very rummy rum, if that makes sense. It just has all of the qualities that you're expecting in a rum on the nose.
Oh, it smells really nice.
Yes, but a good spiced rum. Remember how I told you I started out with very bad rum, and that was not great on the nose.
Yeah.
Bad spiced rum is really
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
We'll call you
I was
out.
going to say that, but I didn't know
Yeah.
if you were going to mention any brands.
Yeah. In this case,
We're not as scared.
Speaking of mentioning
Oh,
brands,
have you tried this?
yeah, I just did. Holy moly!
Whoa.
How
This
you like
is-
me now, brother?
There's almost a little bit of gummy bear in there as well.
Oh, I didn't pick up on gummy.
As weird as that sounds, like that's one of the first things that kind of.
What were you eating on break?
Okay, I just
So-
took this drag of the nub here, and wow! Right when you taste the rum right after, it just goes perfectly
That's
with
the
it.
Melanio.
Yes,
no,
the-
correct?
the-
No,
yes.
I stand by it. There's gummy bear in there.
Yeah. Well,
It is.
I taste the
absolutely
gummy bear.
Delicious. It is vanilla all day long. It's got a
doesn't
chocolate
remind
note.
me of the last gummy I had.
Because that gummy you had was a little dank.
Yeah, it was a little dank. I'm not getting any dank in this
This
at
is
all.
a little
This is a
different.
blend of rums coming from the Dominican Republic and Guatemala, aged up to 8 years in American white oak cask and natural flavors. It is an exquisite representation of what the Latin-style product can taste like. Subtle nutty flavors are combined with delicate sweetness, hints of chocolate, spices, and vanilla. And I'm going to go ahead and add
Gummy.
Gummy.
Are you
Are you getting that? Is it just me?
I think I just get it because you want me to.
Yeah, I think that's probably
I've
power
poisoned,
suggestion.
I've poisoned the table now.
Power suggestion.
It's really, really good though.
Yeah, it
It's
really is, and
nice.
it goes so well. I'm doing the nub Connecticut right now. It goes beautifully with this, beautifully. But again, rum is such a cigar-friendly spirit. It's one of the reasons that I always have lots of it in my bar at home, because rum is just wonderful with cigars in almost every pairing I've ever done. So
Yeah, it's something. The flavor profile of rum just lends itself to it, and it's not just like I'm smoking the Series V 135th right now, and you're smoking the Connecticut.
the Connecticut nub couldn't be more different in terms of profile. of
Right.
cigar.
Which one are you having right now?
I am doing the 135th also.
Okay, and you're having the
And I'm having the Maduro, the Series V.
the Melania.
The Melania
Right,
Series
right.
V, yeah.
And
Series
it goes
V.
with all of them.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, that's just
It
spectacular.
it goes
And
wonderfully
that's
with
how,
this.
That's how wonderful rum is as a pairing beverage for cigars. It just
It's interesting
just
because
works.
it doesn't change the cigar profile at all. It's kind of like they work around each other in the best possible way.
So Terry, this might be one of your first really sort of breakthrough experiences with pairing.
Yes,
Isn't it?
Yes, it
Where
really
you
is.
totally
I mean,
get
this is one of those that you really can get it with it. I mean, they really understand how that goes with a cigar
There's
why.
a kiss of coffee too on
Yes.
the back end of it, I think.
Kiss of coffee, but also a sort of a lingering sweetness on the finish that just really kind of mellows out the cigar and just makes it again.
Man, how
a
much was
wonderful
this
pairing.
bottle? This is delicious.
It's not that expensive. It's about a $40 bottle.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna look for this one.
Yeah. What's it? What is it again?
Smuggler's Reserve is the brand name.
The Forbidden
And
Blend.
it's the Forbidden Blend.
Blend.
Blended rum. And by the way, a lot of times people, and this happens in whiskey and rum, people kind of frown on blends. Blends can be wonderful.
They can be.
The tobacco in the cigar was
all
blended.
blended.
It's all blended. That's the whole point, actually, of being someone who comes up with blends for cigars is getting the right blend of tobaccos to get the flavor that you're looking for.
Blending is a misunderstood term as well too, because any whiskey you've ever had is blended within their own rick house,
Right.
within their own distillery, right? It's blended with a bunch of barrels that they've had to achieve the flavor that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Even if it's Old Number 7, like there's the master distiller or blender is taking those casks and making sure that the end product tastes like what you expect it to taste like.
Right.
Which is crazy. And same thing in cigars to consider. How long have you guys been making the Series V?
The Series V has been, since 2000. Oh, man.
It's a long time.
Right.
Well, I wasn't with them. So I wasn't with
so
them leaving that.
years
So
and
probably
years.
2006.
Yeah,
7?
okay, so 20 years now, roughly, right? You've been making this Series V that I expect to taste the Series V every time I light one of these. And yet, at the factory, you have different rain every year. You have different, at the farms, you have different rain, you have different soil.
Yeah, every year's tobacco crop is going to have
Tobacco
a
crop's
different
gonna have
flavor.
variations.
Everything changes.
Everything changes, and yet you still have someone who can take those different things, pull those ingredients together, and make this same cigar taste like what I expect it
It's
to
such an
every
art
time.
form.
It's
Wow.
amazing.
Is it art or is it science?
It's strange alien
both.
voodoo.
It is
It's
both. Yeah,
both
strange
because-
alien.
Strange
voodoo.
alien
I like that.
voodoo.
I mean, from a science point, I just found this out. We do genetic testing from our soil, plants, and everything in Nicaragua. Send it to a third party in Sweden. They analyze it for everything. They break it down, the DNA of everything, and they send it to our smart guys, and they're like, okay, this is what we need to tweak.
Was
That's pretty amazing.
Was Oliva one of the first sort of major Nicaraguan brands?
I would say Padron,
Yeah, Patron probably.
but yeah, I mean,
Because I think of Oliva as, these days, Nicaraguan tobacco is a big, big deal. There's
It's
so
the
many
biggest.
Nicaraguan brands out there, and it's honestly my favorite. But I think of Oliva, you guys have been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Like you were early on the scene, at least in the modern cigar industry.
so when I got into the industry, it was Dominican, and then it quickly changed to, because I was post-boom 1998, so the tail end of the boom, and then, so that was Dominican, and then Honduras came on, and then Nicaragua quickly replaced that.
Yeah, it's absolutely I would say I smoke probably about, of the cigars I smoke, better than 70% Nicaraguan tobacco. It's just the profile that I like.
But this is amazing. This is exactly what I would say. This is what I was supposed to learn.
Right.
This is what it's supposed to be. If you're wanting to say what that is exactly
It's a
what it
teaching
is.
moment. Actually.
Back to the blending thing. When you're talking about spirits, when they say blended, that means it's when they say blended, that means it's actually blended from different distilleries.
Right.
Correct.
And so now you have people who are blending stuff from different distilleries to achieve a specific taste. And so it's not a bad thing. However, I think it gets a bad thing because a lot of like Canadian whiskeys are blended, and some of them are not great.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are good.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
You can even get blended Scotch that's fantastic. You know, I mean, a Monkey Shoulder is a blended Scotch.
It's
It's
wonderful.
affordable
First
and it's
spirit
fantastic.
we tasted in the first episode of our show.
I brought Monkey Shoulder on.
I love it. All right, we got to take a break, and we'll be right back. Drinking news.
I just want to say that if you are listening on the radio, check out the podcast because this will be a long segment.
Thank you, Terry. We'll be right back. I think it's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting, show number 421, on location at Maduro's Cigar Lounge in League City, Texas. We had one of the customers here come up to us during one of the breaks in the show and pass along a saying, a quote that I thought was really good. Let me see if I can get this right. It was an excellent cigar smoked alone can be marginal, but a marginal cigar smoked with friends can be excellent.
Yes.
Perfect.
And I would paraphrase that to say, an excellent cigar smoked alone can be marginal. A Gurkha smoked with friends can be excellent. Does that work for you? No, there are some good Gurkhas, in fairness, and they've gotten better. But it's just, I was burnt so bad because I used to buy a lot of them, and I had a lot of them during the period of time when I should not have bought a lot of them because they were the great exploding cigar.
And then they look like the cartoon version of when
Yes.
the cigar went pow.
Pow, exactly. But they have gotten better. In fact, I'll review a Gurkha soon just to, eat my words a little bit here.
You know, CAO went through that, and they've bounced back too, man.
Big
They're-
time, yeah.
Bones
big time.
series, their Flathead series, man, they're coming back great.
Good stuff. And speaking of eating my words, it's time for drinking news.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. That doesn't get old, by the way. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Well, for the last several decades, it seems that the United States of America has been, well, not so united. No matter what side of the political divide you find yourself on, rest assured that half of the country disagrees with you. Everything has become so divided that I've made it a personal quest for myself to try to find something that can bring us together. Something we can all agree on. And I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think I may have found it. It's a concept that's beginning to spread like wildfire. Your employers, in addition to offering you sick days for when you're feeling under the weather, may soon be adding another perk to your employment package. Sex days.
Oh,
A new study has found that more than half of workers who have taken a sex day off of work have reported a noticeable boost in their productivity afterward. And increased productivity, well, that's a good thing for your employer.
right.
And 60% of employees said they felt that prioritizing sexual wellness can reduce burnout and absenteeism. So, America, let's embrace sexual awareness. Let's make sex days an actual thing from employers. And let's all come together in unity. Okay, that didn't sound
So you
right.
can call your
but,
boss.
But you know what I mean.
Ring, 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 ring. Hello. Yes, I'm calling in because sex. All right,
All you
yes.
need to know.
I'll be in tomorrow. Thank you.
But our main story in today's drinking news is one of a man who could probably use the benefits conveyed by an employer sex day. Maybe then he'd be a little more focused and wouldn't find himself in the trouble that he's in. Because Drinking News is now reporting that a Florida man...
Florida man.
I don't tell you when that's coming up, ever, do I?
No. I have to listen for it.
A Florida man, 24-year-old Bonifacio Tiburcio Manuel,
That's easy for you to say.
left a party recently to head to a gas station for more alcohol and woke up behind bars.
Whoa. That's time travel is what that's called. Like, last thing I remember was leaving for liquor.
Police officers responded to a call about a blue Ford sedan that had crashed into a concrete pole outside a 7-Eleven store.
Blue Ford sedan.
And when they arrived on the scene and approached the car, they found the Florida man passed out in the driver's seat with, wait for it, no pants on.
No.
Cops,
Been there.
cops say the man was so drunk.
Not again.
Cops say the man was so drunk that he had no memory of the crash and that his pants, which were apparently wet, were crumpled up on the passenger seat next to 2 empty beer cans. When
What happened to the
The
beer?
impact. His pants fell off at impact.
Right.
when officers asked for his driver's license, Bonifacio provided them with an ID from Mexico, which was all he had because apparently he had never actually been issued a license to drive. He was arrested for DUI and for driving without a license and was taken to the drunk tank to dry out.
With or without pants.
Officers say the Florida man didn't give them any explanation for why he was naked from the waist down,
I just did.
but we can assume that they had him put his wet pants on before escorting him to his jail
Maybe
cell.
he was playing. What's the like? It's always shirts and skins, right?
Yeah.
Maybe skins were just upside down that
Or
time.
maybe Truth and Dare by himself.
Or maybe he
Right.
just needed to count to 11.
Oh, that would be shoes.
This, of course, is an extremely Florida story. But we still have to wonder if Florida man could have helped this case at all.
I mean, maybe he was just at that kind of party.
Well, could he have helped this case at all by trying to explain why he was pantsless? I mean, even if it was just a lame excuse, it might have helped him explain the situation. And at the very least would made the story even more, well, Florida.
Like I was getting in my car and my pants got snagged on the passenger seat.
So our crack team here at Drinking News, you see what I did there? Our crack team. Our Drinking News staffers, after being really excited about the announcement of our new policy of allowing sex days, immediately became creative and drew up a list of excuses that the Florida man could have given. And we've compiled them for you here in another easy-to-use Drinking News Top 5 list. This would be the top 5 excuses that the man could have given for the fact that he was not wearing pants. Top 5. Number 5. Was confused about the calendar, thought this was No Pants November. Number 4. Heard about employers offering sex days and was just getting ready. Number 3. He's very submissive and actually allows his wife to wear the pants in their relationship. Number 2, the sign says no shoes, no shirt, no service, but doesn't say a damn thing about pants.
Doesn't say anything about pants.
And the number 1 excuse that Florida man could have given for not wearing pants, number 1, he saw the Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson sex tape and wanted to try honking the horn that same way. Reporting live from 7-Eleven, where if you aren't wearing pants, you might want to stay away from the hot dog roller grill. My name is Cruz, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your...
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. Anytime there's like,
Oh, if this ukulele could talk.
yeah, that's right. Anytime there's something to
It
do,
does every time you pick it up.
it sings. Actually, it sings. Anytime there's a story about someone being pantsless, that's potential fodder for drinking news.
He's only half naked.
Yeah, that's right. Or if you're an optimist, he was half clothed.
Like I said, shirts and skins, and there, it doesn't say you have to like.
So if he wouldn't have crashed, it wouldn't have been a problem.
That's right. No one would have known.
So I mean,
Until I
would-
guess he went into the
What's it- what is it,
7-Eleven.
then we'd have a different story. A Florida man.
walked into a 7-Eleven, no pants.
It's called Donald ducking it.
Oh, no.
That's 100% right.
Ducking the hot dog machine.
I've often wondered why does he bother to wear the coat?
Donald Duck and Porky Pig, they're the two.
Yeah. Proving that the Looney Tunes cartoons were just well ahead of their time.
You know what's awesome?
What?
St. Arnold.
Oh, have you already started to sample the
I call it research, yes.
Bishop's Barrel? All right, so let's talk about it. St. Arnold Bishop's Barrel. So St. Arnold has had two limited, like, in high demand sort of series that they've put out through the years here.
The Divine Reserve.
The Divine Reserve, which is always wonderful. And then the Bishop's Barrel. And Bishop's Barrel was always about aging.
Yes.
And it's not always a big beer. Sometimes it's a lighter beer.
They've done many different styles of beers.
But in this case, it's an Imperial Porter. And what can you tell us about Bishop's Barrel number 26?
Imperial Porter, aged in bourbon barrels with coffee, coconut, vanilla, orange peel, and coriander. First off, it's delightful. This might as well be a barley wine.
Wow. So
Some of the notes are very barley wine-esque. You have that deep, dark fruit, almost date kind of, or raisiny kind of flavor in there.
I was enjoying the aroma so much, I actually wound up sticking my nose in the Imperial.
Bishop's Barrel number 26 was inspired by coffee cocktails and delicious desserts. We aged our Imperial Porter in bourbon barrels for 14 months to provide the essence of vanilla and wood. Toasted coconut flakes add mouthfeel and impressions of sweetness reminiscent of your favorite German chocolate cake. Espresso beans boost flavor, and the subtle use of vanilla, orange peel, and coriander add a nice touch of complexity.
So you can get all of that in there. I get a really nice wave of vanilla on the finish, but it doesn't last because the coconut comes kind of charging in.
Coconut's pretty fine in there.
Yeah.
Like little toasted coconut in there. It's really nice. This is outstanding. This is what I expect from Bishop's Barrel, where I'm paying $10 for a 12-ounce beer, and it's delicious.
And pretty much worth it, I would say, at that,
I would say
at that
so.
price. Yeah, that's...
Are we all enjoying it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you keep mentioning coriander. You've done that a few times. I've never heard of that in beer before.
So coriander is actually not unusual. It's they use it. One of the New Belgium beers is a brown ale brewed with coriander. I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but it's something that you find in beer from time to time, and it adds that. It's in like you get it in kind of the background of the flavor. It adds a little bit of the spicy kind of, not spicy as in hot, but kind of almost a Christmassy spice note to the back end of it. And I get it a lot on the retro hail after a sip.
So, Ian, here's something interesting. Take a sip of the Bishop's Barrel, and then go back to the rum.
Uh-oh.
All right, what's happening here? The rum smells so good.
I'm picturing Bill Murray in Caddyshack right now. Here, try that. Chase it with this. Chase it with that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It thins out the rum, but it doesn't take away awesome flavor.
Correct. The flavor still just kind of blossoms on the tongue in the middle of the palate. But you're right. It feels a little more thin than it did before.
I still get a little bit of gummy, by the way.
I'm not surprised.
I'm going back to the Bishop's Barrel now. Let's see what happens.
So is coriander, like, give me a food group.
Oh,
I know.
So it brings out the chocolate and the coffee in the Bishop's Barrel.
Big time coffee.
You were asking coriander?
So what food nationality uses coriander? Because I know it's a spice, right?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It is spice. I'm vaguely aware of what that tastes like. But it is, I think coriander is a seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Coriander is a seed. But it's one of those things you see, I think you see it in like Christmas spices and blends like that. I don't
It's
know
in the parsley family.
I don't know
It's
that you
native
use it
to
all by
the
itself.
Mediterranean.
So you have some Greek food, you're probably going to have some coriander.
Yeah, I love it.
Man, this beer is good.
It really is. I'd say that's probably one of the
Cilantro
better
and coriander are the same plant, but they're called different names depending on where they are used.
Cilantro.
Fascinating.
Really?
So there you go.
Because I don't pick up cilantro.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think Greek food uses cilantro, do they?
It says they're
You say cilantro,
different.
I'm thinking
No,
of-
they use
No,
coriander.
they use coriander, but basically it says it's the same thing, just called different names depending on where they're
Wait,
used.
is this the AI?
There are AI things in here that is saying this. Yeah.
Strange. I never knew that.
The Coriander
But
Project.
coriander, I always see like when you buy it as a spice, it's a seed.
Yeah, it just says in other parts of the world, the entire plant is known as coriander. In Spanish-speaking countries, coriander leaves are called cilantro.
Coriander leaves, so the seed, maybe the seed is more
Yeah.
Yeah.
what we call coriander.
And the
Maybe
leaf.
the leaf would be the cilantro.
Yeah.
Because I don't get cilantro in here.
I
But I
don't.
do get what I would identify as coriander.
No, it's
Yeah.
a slight woody and nutty flavor that you get from coriander, I
Right.
think. So, and I believe like if you get stuff that's very holiday spice kind of stuff, it's almost always added to that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Put it in the comments down below.
And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We'd appreciate it. We will take a break and be right back. This is Smoking the Toast. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toast, and our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
those
A
things.
lot of hand-rolled cigars in the humidor here at Maduro's Cigar Lounge in
League City.
League City.
League
Thank you.
City.
I
So
don't
if
know
you're
why
on
I
your
was
way to Galveston,
brain
if you're
gapping
ever
there.
in the Houston / Galveston area, you're on your way to Galveston. Make yourself a little side trip to come up to Maduro's. It'll be about 10 minutes out of your way off of 45.
Down
As a matter of fact,
518.
it might save you time because 45 is going to be stopped up
And you might as well
tons of
sit here and
traffic.
have a
You might as well
cigar.
sit here and have a cigar.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's right off of what was that 518? out
518.
here? Yeah, it's a great little lounge.
Wonderful place. And Trenton Smith, our good friend from Oliva Cigars, is here with us, and he's brought some wonderful Oliva cigars. I'm still smoking this Nub Connecticut and loving how slow it smokes. These Nub cigars are short. They're fat cigars, but they're short. But this one's almost smoking as long as the other cigar that I had first.
They'll
which was-
smoke as long as most Robustos, I think.
Okay, so I did a study one time. I was at a shop and they had a scale sitting there for pipes. And I'm like, you know what? I want to see if this is true because I've been told that nubs have as much tobacco as certain cigars. So I would take a Connecticut Reserve and take the Connecticut nub, and it's identical to the weight of a Toro.
Really?
Yeah. So not a Robusto, but a Toro.
Well, that's why you get pretty much a full hour
Yeah.
or
Right.
45 minutes to an hour out of that cigar.
Yeah, a lot of people
Pretty-
think it's a
amazing.
quick smoking cigar, but
It is
it's
not. No.
Yeah, this is not a dog walker, unless you have a very active dog.
So the,
Let's get a
the
big
key
dog.
selling points about a nub, you're getting a burst of flavor from the start because of the big ring gauge, and it's going to burn very cool the entire
Yes.
cigar. So it's not going to activate those spices by getting hot because of the big ring gauge.
Right. I was led to understand that the initial idea of the nub was to start the cigar at its sweet spot.
That sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
So, you know,
absolutely.
because when you light most cigars, you almost always get a very big, spicy note right from the beginning. And then it settles in about a third into the cigar into what they call the sweet spot. And the nub was supposed to be like, this is where you're starting that cigar. And it's a cigar that smokes as long as cigars that, like that Toro that you said. So
So
that's
we were
pretty
talking
wild.
about this a little bit earlier. When I first saw nub, I worked for another company, and I'm like, oh, that's a gimmick. That'll go away.
Right.
And we're like 20 some years later,
And here it is, yeah.
every company has a 460 now.
Right, a nub knockoff, if you
Yep.
will. Yeah. Yeah.
Nub is an absolute along with the Series V and a few others, they're absolutely in my humidor at all times. And oh no, we're about to be pod crashed.
Uh-oh.
I see what's happening here.
All right, he's going to have to hurry because the show is almost
We're on the
over.
very last bit of it.
He's got like 4 minutes of
I love
pod
this.
crashing.
You know, I will say Maduros is a wonderful establishment, but clearly they'll let anyone in here. So, Alan Denny, come say hello, my friend. Good to see you.
heard.
Say hello to the cameras.
So awesome.
Friend of the show, Alan Denny. It's wonderful to see you. Yeah, everything good with you? You got anything to say or talk about?
Well, just a little bit. You know, we were overeating crawfish because we found out that April is 100% cancer free.
April's a very good friend of the show and is your wife, and she's 100% cancer free. And this is the best news ever. So if you'll allow us a moment here on Smoking and Toasting to celebrate with our friends. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
April. Love you. That's wonderful.
Y'all can
Wonderful news. All right. Well, we are almost finished with the cigar. We want to give super huge thanks to our good friend Trenton Smith from Oliva Cigars for coming on. And, you know, I don't say this lightly. Just thanks to your company for being so consistently strong with the quality of what you guys put out. Ian, this cigar that Ian is smoking, that you're smoking, this is one of my all-time favorite cigars. It's an absolute joy and treasure, and it reminds you why we enjoy doing this thing with cigars, why it's so much of a pleasure to smoke.
So I say this quite a bit. I have an easy job selling Oliva cigars because it's not a hard sell.
Yeah, they're so good.
So, but we make it look kind of easy, and it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of research, a lot of effort that goes into it from the people that are managing the tobacco to the fields to rolling the cigars, boxing them, and then we have the easy job selling it. So, but I mean, it's many hands touch this product before it goes to the consumer.
And the consistency is just, it's striking how good your cigars are on a consistent basis. And I'll say this one more time at the risk of, maybe I shouldn't, but the prices, other than your $300 cigar, which we talked about, but the prices really are quite reasonable in today's cigar market and cigar terms. So, and if you buy one of these babies, this is this Series V 135. This is, what's the retail on this?
$12.50.
$12.50.
Yeah, don't bother. Just buy a box.
This is worth every penny
Yeah.
of the $12.50.
Just
and
buy a box. It comes in a box of 12, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. And the box
is beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. So Trenton, thank you so much for having us for being on the program. We appreciate it. Ian, anything you want to talk about that's coming up in the upcoming weeks here on Smoking and Toast?
Next week we got us.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do the Michigan show.
We're going to be tasting Michigan beers and maybe even Michigan spirits.
Yeah, so I have my brother-in-law, and I also have a bunch of family up there anyway. My brother-in-law has a bunch of family out there, and he brought back some Michigan beers for us to try, and some Michigan spirits as well from Mammoth Distillery. So that's going to be fun. Coming up after that, we got...
Shout out to our Battle Creek radio station.
Yeah, Battle Creek radio station up there. We've got, hey, if anybody up there knows anybody at Founders, we totally want them on the show, so talk to them. Also, we've got, on the 10th, we've got No Label coming in to show us what they've got going on. We've got Rob Clark from the Food, Wine, and Whiskey podcast coming up on the 17th. We'll be at Vinyl Draft on the 24th with Trey Andrews from EPC, and more coming up after that.
Well, we want to thank you guys for checking us out and for being here, and we wish you the best until we meet again next week. Same time, same channel, as they say. Cheers.